Hi YouTube world. I am back here on Thursday, July the 17th, and I'm here to update you about my interview today and how it went. Um, this morning at about 11 o'clock, I was called by my caseworker. I believe she's a caseworker. Maybe she's just the director of the surrogacy center. But anyways, I was capable of sending over all of my pregnancy, prenatal, and labor history and paperwork, so she was able to go over that. And between my second and my fourth pregnancy, I was pregnant with my third child, and in a stillborn at 22 and a half weeks pregnant. And that happened 3 years ago, so I'm pretty comfortable with talking about it now. It's still sad, of course, but anyways, so she called to let me know that they put something in my paperwork that I was unaware of. I was aware that his passing was due from his umbilical cord wrapping around his neck tightly, and that it was lack of oxygen. He wasn't able to grow and breathe, and it was just something that they couldn't detect. It can happen overnight. So, as sad as that was, we were able to grieve and move on, knowing the cause. Well, she told me that in the paperwork they put possible placenta previa, or placenta abruption, I guess is what she was calling it, which was shocking to me. I had no idea. So, in this case, when you're trying to become a surrogate, this is a red flag. They're like, hold the brakes, wait a minute, this is serious because it can happen over again. So, before I even came in, she's like, this could be a possible make it or break it scenario for us and for the fertility doctor. He may not want to work with you now because of this. And I was like, really? I didn't even know that it was on there. And a whole different scenario happened in my mind, thinking about the baby and everything. And anyways, so I still went in for my interview and I still talked to her. And so I'll kind of go over that and then kind of get back to what I'm talking about. So I went in, and there were two women who interviewed me, one of them who I had been communicating with quite frequently. And they basically wanted to get to know me, my husband, and my children. And they did for a short time for the kids. My husband ended up leaving and taking them to a near park, which is a block away. But basically, they wanted to get to know our home life, what we did, what we liked to do. What grade, were the kids in school? Are they in sports? How my husband liked his job, where he works. Then they kind of got more personal with me. They wanted to know how all my pregnancies went, if there were any kind of like indications or problems, which with two of my pregnancies, I had dehydration just because I kind of like I lost track of where I was with my fluids, eating, kind of got sick. Things happen. Nothing serious though. Like my pregnancies, they went pretty well besides the third one, which that pregnancy went pretty well until the end. So, I found myself to be fairly lucky being able to get pregnant pretty quickly, having great pregnancies and having great deliveries. I never had a complication in delivery either. There was never an indication that I needed a C-section, if that I needed to be assisted in any way with forceps or anything. So that was great to tell them, which kind of, they said, it's fantastic that you had two healthy pregnancies before you're stillborn and you were able to have a healthy pregnancy after you're stillborn. So that can kind of play a favor in my part with the decision on this placenta abruption scenario. Then they wanted to know if some scenarios happened in the instance of being when I'm a surrogate, how would I handle them? If for some reason the parents wanted to not have that child anymore because there was complications, or the child was physically or mentally disabled, that they would want to terminate the pregnancy. And I basically, in my sense, I would not want to terminate a child just because they had dysfunctions that weren't normal, or they were handicapped. But if I were to do an international adoption or surrogate, because they do work with international couples from Italy and France and Barcelona and China. Some of those countries don't have what we have here to help disabled children. So if that's the case and they would want to terminate that pregnancy, I would be willing, because it's their child, it's not mine. They also wanted to know if I was willing to carry twins, which I am. And they gave me a scenario saying, if we put 2 embryos in your uterus and one splits and now there's 3 embryos, we would have to reduce that because of complications with triplets. Would you be willing? And I said yes, I would be willing, because that at that time that kind of puts me more at risk as well, and I'm not willing to risk my life for someone else's child. I'm willing to give life and I'm willing to birth 2 babies, but 3 is just kind of pushing it. Like I told him, I was like, I'm not the Octomom, like I'm not crazy. I know it's doable, and I know there's women out there who do it, but I just don't think I would. And I don't think that the clinic works like that. I don't think that they want to do it either. Then they talked about compensation. They broke it down for me, said that, basically you would go over it with a surrogate lawyer and put everything set in stone. Not everything's set in stone in our way. You can kind of make it your own way if you want to get paid monthly, bi-monthly, tri-monthly, completely at the end. Like, that's all up to you. Some of the compensation you can change if you feel like it's fair. If you get more, you can ask for more. So that's what I got from them on that part. They kind of went over what would happen if the fertility doctor says with the go-ahead. I would finish just a little bit more paperwork. They would send over all of my charts to the fertility clinic, and then we would then be paired with an intended parents, and we would meet, and then we would build up a contract, go over it, adjust things if needed, and then make that set in stone. And then sometimes, not all the time, a woman is required to do what's called a mock cycle, and that's basically trying to see which hormones work with her body and what is the right dosage, and that is for 5 to 7 days. And then you go in for ultrasounds. They put a camera and dye in your uterus to see how your uterus functions, which way things work and flow. They want to make sure you don't have fibroids, cysts, all of that. And then you do fertility treatments, so that way you and the intended mother or the egg donor are met up with your cycles correctly, and that could be 4 to 6 weeks, and that does involve taking shots, and I believe she said a pill, but I'm not 100% sure. And then the transfer happens, and then basically you're pregnant for 10 months. So I'm excited, and I really hope that you guys pray that I get this, because seriously, I want to do it so bad. I've been thinking about this for 2 years. I've been at this physically for 6 months. I've lost weight for this. This is driving me crazy. So that is how my day went. I feel like it went really good with the interview. They really liked us. I'm just hoping that the fertility doctor says with the go ahead. So I will give another update when I have another update. All right. Hope you guys have a great night. Bye.